Hi everyone, welcome to Zen Studios. Today we're going to do pack 21 of the ELEANOR Mustang from FanHome. In this pack we are going to be finishing up the engine, and we are also going to fit it into the chassis. So let's go ahead, get going, let's find some Zen. Okay, we're going to start out on the main camera, because since this is the first time that this build is appearing on this channel, I'm going to go ahead and give you an idea of where we are and where this build is, being 21 packs into it. So we'll go ahead and we'll start with this front grille area. This was done in stage 1 and stage 4, I believe, that we put this together. Looking really good. I really like the finish on this car. It's definitely shinier and has a more wet look than a lot of the other 1.8 vehicles we've done. Alright, and we have the hood. This came in stage 3 or 4, I believe. We have literally done absolutely nothing with this hood up at this time, but hopefully we're going to fit it to this car soon. We have the driver's side door with all the internal on that. The passenger side door as well, so both of the doors are finished. They look really nice. We have the top of the engine block. This was done in the early stages as well. We are going to be using this today, as we are going to be finishing up the engine. We have this front section with the radiator fan and the belts and pulleys. So we're going to be building onto that today as well. And the radiator housing, where the fan's going to go in a pipe. So that's all ready to be fitted into the car. I don't think we're using this today. But the biggest thing we've been doing has been working on the main chassis. Let me clear some room for you so I can get it in camera. Just do this for now. Alright, so the chassis, as you can see, has all the interior in it, the fire extinguishers, seat belts, go baby go gear stick. It has the seat that can flip up and down, and at the back it has the nitrous tank, as well as the battery. So that's where we are with our ELEANOR Mustang as of right now. And we're going to move forward with... Alright, we will need this chassis with the interior at the end of this pack, but for now, we'll go ahead and we'll get... Alright, here's the magazine for pack 21, issue 21. Incidentally, this is the first magazine that I've released that has the FanHome branding on it, which is really interesting. All the other ones that I've gotten either from FanHome or the previous company have had the other logo on it. So interesting that they changed the branding on this one. It's on a different paper stock as well. It's on FanHome's paper stock, so it's a little less beefy, but still looking really nice. So we have our table of contents. This gives you an idea of what you're building in each stage. So we're going to start out with the left engine block, and we have the manifolds, the switch, the on-off switch to go in the car. So actually I will need the car right away. And then we have the gas filter as well. So that's what we're going to start with. As you can see, the switch goes in here, goes into the dashboard. So that's the on and off switch for all of the lights. And then we're putting the gas filter onto the left engine block. And in the next stage we have these parts. So we'll Alright, so here's the pack for stage 79. As you can see, we have the engine block, the manifold, and the switch in here. So we'll go ahead and get this open, making sure that we don't damage that switch, because otherwise none of our electrics are going to work. Here's that side of the engine block, completely metal, which is always a nice thing to see. Switch, the switch cover that's going to hold it in there. Here are the manifolds, some PSO5 screws, and that gas filter. So we'll go ahead and get this going. Alright, it's going to be impossible to film with my setup. I promise as this channel grows I'll go ahead and invest in some more cameras. But the switch goes into a gap, which is right here on the left of the steering wheel. That's where the switch is going to go, and I'll mount that now. Alright, not the easiest thing, but the switch is in. It's hard to see with the black on black with its cover in there. And it's ready to be available to turn your electrics on and off. Excellent. There we go. Alright. Now we need this side of the engine block and the gas filter, which is going in this way, the other way, just like that. Then we're using one of these PSO5 screws to get that locked into place. There we go. There's the gas filter in place. Okay, we're going to start with this piece, and we have this bracket that came in this pack, and we're going to want this side of it to be on this side nearest to the pipe, and it's going to go on the other side. This doesn't need any screws. Just snaps into place, just like that. So we have that part completed. Now we're going to take this piece, and this is the right engine block. We're going to slot this into here so it's nice and flush on that side. And then we're going to take this piece, which is the connector that's going to connect it to the gearbox, and put it together like that. And then take these, and this is this goes like that. And there we are. So that's all together like that. It's a nice little chunky piece of engine. It's about 4 inches long from the fan to the back here. We have DSO2 screws. Open them up. I am using, for these metal parts, I'm using a Wera PH1 screwdriver. For the longest time, I just thought my PH0 was going to work for everything, but I finally caved, and I got one of these PH1s. They make screwing these parts into metal so much easier. And speaking of making them go in easier, I have my normal 3-in-1 oil. Just really, between the PH1 screwdriver and the oil, it just really drives these screws home. I'm really glad that I decided to take the plunge and get one. You really do need one of these longer shaft screwdrivers, because this needs to go all the way down and clamp this together. This one here. That. And this hole here, I don't know if I'm going to be able to use my PH1 for that or get a screw in there, because the gas filter is in the way. Let me see. Oop, you know what? It's because I have the gas filter on the wrong way. Let me fix that. Okay, so just to show you, this gas filter should hang down below the engine block. I thought it was supposed to be flush the other way, and because I didn't actually read the instructions correctly, I messed that up. So that's back in where it should be now, and I should be able to get a screw into this hole now. Okay, so that's all in, and I could get a screw into this hole now. So that's 4 screws in there. And now what we're going to do, we're going to take this top of the engine and just put it down. just like that. It's not secured in at the moment, but it will be later. And we'll work on these manifolds. Let's see. I think this one has an L on it. It's just hard to see. But they can really only go in one way because you want them going down from this direction toward the exhaust. And there's only really one way to do that. If you try and put it in the other side, they're going to be going the wrong way. So we'll go ahead and put these in. And these are just a push to fit. I love push to fit connections. They're so satisfying. And with the manifolds clipped in, like they're supposed to be, that's what the engine is looking like at the end of stage 80. So we'll move on to stage 81. Alright, stage 81. We have this pipe here, which is the engine breather tube. You have the crankcase cover, oil filter, pressure sensor, oil filter tube, and the cap, and some DSO7 screws. And we're going to be putting this down into here on the, looks like that's on the bottom of the engine, yep. And then putting the crankcase cover in, screwing that. This is what's going to hold the top of the engine block in place. Put the cap on the pipe into the engine, the breather and the breather tube, and that's what it's going to look like at the end of this stage. wrong 3 times. Which is really, really funny. So this goes in here. Like that, as before. And then this goes in with the square part going toward the back. Like that. Clicks into place. But we are going to secure it with the 2 DS07 screws, which are right here. Drop some oil on these. Put those all the way in. There's one. And the second one. Those are all set. So see, I can pick this up by the air filter now. Now we have this pipe right here in the cap. The cap pushes onto the top. Will hold itself in. And then it's going to go into this hole right here. It does have a D shape to it. Push that into place. Just like that. That pipe is in place there. And then we've got this little one. This one right here. That's going right next to it. Put that in right there. And then the last pipe we have going in so this end of it is going on into this hole at the back, and then getting plugged into, you have this little lug behind the fan, and it sits on there just like that. Eventually the exhaust will hold these manifolds in. So that's all there is to do in stage 81. Alright, stage 82, this one's going to be fun. I'm really excited to see how this turns out. We have the oil pan, and we have the ignition distributor with a wire already attached to it. We have the ignition coil with all of the wires. This is really interesting on this particular Mustang. We have DSO2 screws and PSO5. First thing we're going to do is we're going to be putting the oil pan cover onto the bottom of what we just made. All these ignition switches, which are going in here. Whether or not they have the right firing order, I don't know. But we'll find that out. Interestingly, on I think both the Agora model Shelby Super Snake and the original D'Agostini Shelby GT500, you had to cut and plug all of the distribution wires into the distributor on your own. It's actually been all done for us as one piece in this build, which is really nice. I usually end up tearing my hair out with all of these HT leads and brake lines and all that kind of stuff, so I kind of appreciate that, even if it does make it a little bit less dynamic in terms of build progress. And we had this ignition coil wire, which is getting plugged into the top of the distributor and then around to the front. And then the really exciting part, we get to drop the engine into the chassis and screw that down from the top, and we will make sure that these manifolds do go into the exhaust pipes, which are in the chassis. And at the very end, I'll show you the rest of this magazine. Alright, we're going to cut open pack 82. Here is the oil pan cover. Plastic, but brilliantly painted. You would never know that it's not actually metal unless you actually felt it. We have those DS07 screws. Looks like I only have one of them in there. I think I only need one. And PS05s. We have that ignition coil with the wire. And here's the distributor. So we're going to start with and we have some DS02 screws from the look of it. So we're going to start with oh, just kidding. These are from the last stage. So it's DS02 screws that we need. That's why there were only one of them, because I used the the other one in the last pack. And I do only need one DS02. I'll grab my PH1 screwdriver. And we're going to put this on here. So there is a locating pin. Drop that in there. That sits on there really nicely. Oil. And the oil pan cover is in place. Now we're going to take this distributor. As you can see, all of those leads are already put on there for us. And it does have a D-shaped pattern, so it can only go in one way. There's a hard push to get into place. But it will click in, just like that. And now we're going to trace all of these HT leads. Tweezers are probably going to be my friend on this. And they're going to go into each of these 4 holes on either side. So I'll go get those in and show you what. So there's one side done. I did find it easier to take the manifold off. So I'll do that on this side. And you just go in order. So this one at the back. This one right next to it. This one, the second one. this one at the front. So that's what that's looking like. And when taking the manifold off, I didn't even need any tweezers for that. Sit that back in on that side. That back in on that side. And then next, we're going to be putting this into the top of the distributor. Might need my tweezers for this one. Alright, with a little bit of pushing that's in. And then this is going to go down and fit into this D-shaped hole right here. Manifold fell out again. I think. Just like that. That's how they have that looking. So that's what our engine looks like. The manifolds fell out again, but they're going to be all in one place here shortly. Looking pretty good. Now we have to bring the chassis over. So here's the chassis. What we're going to do is we're going to put these manifolds back in. Hopefully for the last time. The other one, and this just going to seat in perfectly. This other manifold in place. into the chassis like that. Let me see if I can find PSO7s. There they are. Open those up. I'm going to go back to my PH0 screwdriver and 2 screws right through the gearbox. Get them with my PH1 just to make sure that they're fully in tight. And we have a mounted engine in our ELEANOR Mustang. That's how this is looking. The radiator fan can still turn. All these ignition wires are in place. Just like that. And that's all that we have left to do in this pack of the ELEANOR Mustang. We do have this radiator bracket that we'll go ahead and we'll get into next time as well. But really happy with that. Glad we finally got this part, the engine block top, into the car. We've had that all the way from... It's been a long time. Let's just put it that way. Manifolds are into the exhaust like they're supposed to be. Everything's looking good. And get this off the table, and I'll show you the rest of the magazine, and we'll see what... Alright, here's what we have left of our magazine for stage 20, pack 21. We just finished all the instructions. Toby Haleki's car collection. Interestingly, on this, the ELEANOR Mustang, Shelby American has no rights to the design of the car. The design of the car resides with the Haleki family. That's why you don't see any Shelby branding on this model. I definitely have seen people go and try and find that branding and put it on using some of the other models that have been done before. So it's all the power to them. So his car collection. The stars enjoy the stunts. So some about stunt driving and all of that went into the film. The 60 seconds files. These have some details about the original film, that the 2000 remake, which is the car that we're building. It has some of that history in it too. And the cars with women's names. I really like these articles in here to see all the different kinds of cars that were on the list. I had no idea that a 2000 Ford F-Series 350 modified pickup was on the list under the name of Ann. I'll have to check that out the next time that I watch the film to see if I actually see this one on here. It would have been fun to see them boost this car. I don't mind telling you. I really am a big fan of pickups. So that was Ann. And Deborah is the Jaguar XJ8 1999. I do remember them on this one. Donnie and Fred are the ones that steal this one. And the guy tries to carjack them. I really enjoyed that scene in the movie. And classic Mustangs, the 2000 Mustang SVT Cobra. I've driven this car a lot in the video games. Really fun. Next month, we have the engine surround, and we're gonna have that coming in the next pack. So we'll continue adding on to this chassis, and keep on going. The body work is coming really soon for this one. I think the first set of body work that we have is other than the ones we already have is going to be in pack 23, which is going to be here in January. I'm really excited for that. So that's our ELEANOR Mustang for this month. I really hope you enjoyed that. Mistakes included in terms of filming and building. We're all about mistakes on this channel, I guess. So we will go ahead and we will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like to subscribe, like the video, share it, I would really appreciate that. And for tomorrow, we have our first full kit Friday coming tomorrow, so I'm really excited about that. We're going to be excuse me, looking into the Revell F14 Tomcat, seeing what we have going on with that. So we'll catch you next time. Remember, always good to find some zen, whether it's model building, exercise, playing music, whatever you do. This channel supports all sorts of creative avenues because it's definitely sorely needed in our world today. So we look forward to talking to you soon, and we'll see you for Full Kit Friday tomorrow. Take care, everybody.